Hey everybody, Kimmel's Irish Pub. Got a Netflix original for you. Kodachrome. Kodachrome I think it is. So basically it's during the final days of that photo development system, and a father and son are driving across country to the Kansas Photo Lab before it closes down. I don't know. Netflix recommended it to me. You know, I think they'll recommend anything because they know I'll watch anything, but who knows. I have a 95% like rate on this one. I don't know. Elizabeth Olsen, very popular lately, of not the Olsen twins, but of the Olsen sisters. She's in Avengers. So if you haven't seen her, Jason Sudeikis, he's in a lot of different movies. You know, he's a pretty good comedian. Ed Harris, Alcatraz. Is that what that was called? No, The Rock. The Rock. You remember The Rock with Sean Connery? Well, Ed Harris was in that. He was one of the bad guys. Bruce Greenwood, a very well-known actor, and Dennis Haysbert. Who's Dennis Haysbert? Well, he's President Palmer, of course. If you don't know who President Palmer is, get out from underneath the rock and watch 24. He'll always be my president. And he's Serrano from Major League. So there's a couple of good actors and actresses in this. So I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to watch it, and I'll let you know if it's any good. So stick around, alright? Be back. Hey everybody, I want to do a real quick check-in here. We're at the 34-minute and 55-second mark of Kodachrome. That's the way you say it, Kodachrome. And very similar plotline of another movie, Danny Collins. I'll put the thing up there somewhere. It'll float up, and you can click on that review and watch that if you want. Hopefully I have it public. But anyway, if you haven't seen that review, check it out after this one, after you're done watching this. But it's the same kind of thing where, so Jason Sudeikis, he seems like a record producer. He works in the music industry, and he's getting fired from there. And the one saving grace, he's trying to grab a band and get them lured away from Sony. Anyway, that's his little backstory there. Single, divorced, whatever. And enter in Elizabeth Olsen, who happens to be his father's nurse and assistant or something like that. And he's dying of cancer, liver cancer, and he's only given a couple months to live. Anyway, that's the reason for the road trip. So his father wants him to drive him to Kansas to get this last piece of Kodachrome so that he can develop some film or something along those lines. But the problem is they're estranged. So they haven't spoken in over 10 years. Jason actually despises his father, who seemed like he was a big-time photographer for a magazine. I think that's what I'm getting. Only 34 minutes in, but I'm stopping it real quick. And the reason I stopped it was because it reminded me of Danny Collins, and Danny Collins is the same thing where it's a music-based film that a father's trying to reconnect with their son. And so that's what's kind of happening here. So very similar plot lines. And I know this happens a lot. It's hard to be creative. But so far so good. I like the acting. I like Elizabeth Olsen. I like Jason Sudeikis. So it's entertaining. And the other thing, you can see a little, little romance budding between the nurse and the son. So, so far so good. You know, I'm predicting that something bad's going to happen. It's going to start going well. They're going to start reconnect. Something bad will happen, and they'll break it apart, and then it'll come back together, and blah, 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 blah. So, we'll see. Very predictable, I think, movie, but maybe I'll be wrong. Two other really quick things that make me like this movie even more. Eddie Vedder song came on, so anytime Pearl Jam or Eddie Vedder is in a movie, I seem to like it more. It's just odd. Obviously, I'm a Pearl Jam fan, and the other thing was they mentioned the Poconos. So he was talking about when his mother used to take him up to the Poconos. So now I thought that was interesting and kind of hit home. And it was in like the same screen time, you know what I mean? Same scene, whatever. You know, Eddie Vedder's playing and he's talking about the Poconos. You know. So I don't know. Maybe he'll bring up the Green Lantern. But anyway, I'll get back into it a little bit more, see if anything changes the plot line and makes it a little bit more interesting. And if not, I'll see you at the credits and let you know what I think. Thanks for sticking around. Hey everybody, we're at the credits, Kodachrome. Well, not exactly, because as we all know, when you watch a movie on Netflix, they don't let you watch the entire credits. They put them up in a corner and then try and throw on something else, either the next movie or a trailer. and I don't want that to interrupt us. But it has just finished, and it was, you know, not a very unfamiliar plot line, as I had mentioned, you know, to a father and son trying to reconnect over a road trip. You know, this is just about getting film developed, and that's really the only difference. The father has liver cancer, and they're you know, trying to patch things up. And as you can imagine, throughout this road trip, there's some funny moments. There's some, you know, not so great moments where they're not getting along and neither one of them are trying because they hate each other. And then there's the moments where they, you know, try and get along and all that kind of stuff. So you get it. You've seen it before. You know, and you know what's coming too, I think, in this movie, when, you know, the father has liver cancer and it's, you know, he only has a few months to live. You know, there's going to be some emotions going on throughout the end of it. That all exists. And I'm not going to spoil any of it for you, but, you know, the whole idea is to get these 4 rolls of film developed before they shut that down. They're not developing any more Kodachrome film after this, and that's the whole thing, to get them there in time and, you know, see what's on these things. So what's on these rolls, and do they get there, and all that kind of stuff. You get it. What I liked about the movie, I think, is the acting. You know, Ed Harris was great. He's always great. Elizabeth Olsen, I thought she was wonderful in this. I enjoy her acting. And you know what, there was something about Jason Sudeikis, for some reason, I thought I didn't like him. I don't know if it was something on Saturday Night Live or one of his previous movies. I don't know. But after watching this and rethinking some of the things, Mother's Day is another movie I thought he did really well in. He does really well in this movie, and so I'm really starting to like him. You know, he still has that sense of humor, that Saturday Night Live, you know, a little bit of humor in it, but he's a much better serious actor than I was giving him credit for. So I really enjoyed him in this role. Overall, the plot's overplayed, but at least this one was well acted. Therefore, I'm gonna give it the proverbial 7. It's not good enough to be an 8, but it's not bad enough to be a 6. Enough to watch, but you have to be in the mood. This is, you know, there are some laugh monies. There are some laugh times in this, but not enough to make it a comedy. You know, even so, you see Jason Sudeikis, you might think that. I didn't, but you might think that. You know, but it's not. It's more of an emotional movie. So if you're in the mood for an emotional type movie that deals with cancer and death and estranged father-son relationships, this is the movie for you. But if you want to laugh, I wouldn't watch this. You just have to have the mindset going into it. But I think you'll enjoy it, even though we've seen it a lot of different times. This is just done their way with better acting. So that's it for me. I don't want to go on too much longer. If you watch it, let me know. Love to hear from you. If I persuaded you to watch this movie or deterred you, I'd love to hear that too. I just love to hear things. At least you watched my video. Thanks. I appreciate it. Kimmel's Irish Pub.